The sixth lecture of the discipline Ecology and the Fundamentals of Life Safety is about the modern socio-ecological problems and sustainable development. It includes anthropogenic impact as a geological and geochemical factors in the evolution of the biosphere, development of natural resources, climate change, environmental pollution, the impact of hazardous and harmful factors of the environmental industry of human health, environmental degradation, ecological crisis, and the main features of the global, regional, and local levels. Pollution, as a result of human activity or human intervention, is called anthropogenic. Anthropogenic pollution is associated with human activities. Environmental pollution is a physical or structural change that disrupts the processes of circulation and metabolism, energy, and information flows as a result of various intrusions into the ecosystem that are not sacred to living or animated components. All types of inserts into the natural processes of man in the biosphere can be grouped into the following types of pollution. Introduction of chemical contaminants that do not have an graduated contamination or natural biogeocyanosis. Parametric or physical pollution associated with change in the quality of the environment. Biocyanosis pollution is generalization when in effect is a composition and structure of living organism living in the biogeocyanosis. Stationary descriptive pollution associated with the efficiency of nature in human activities reflect changes in the landscape and ecosystems in the process of nature use. Currently, we divided the sources of environmental pollution into the following groups. Physical pollutions. It includes radioactive substance, electromagnetic waves, heat, light, noise, and vibration. Second, chemical pollution. It includes carbon products, sulfur, hydrocarbons, wastewater, pesticides, herbicides, fluorine, compounds, heavy metals, aerosols, mainly biosphere pollutants, including nitrogenous wastes. And the third, biological pollutions are photogenic bacteria and viruses, worms, protozoa, overgrown pests. And the fourth, aesthetic damage to the unique beauty of nature, destruction of forest, etc. The processes of pollutions in biosphere divided in three stages: distribution of pollutants, penetration of pollutants into biomass, biological accumulation or accumulation of pollutants. Sources of atmospheric pollutions are divided into artificial and natural. Depending on the scale of distribution, air pollution is divided into local, regional, and global. Natural pollutants or volcanic evaporation, sandstorms, forests, and steppe fires do not significantly affect on the overall level of pollutions. The main and the most dangerous sources of air pollution are anthropogenic. The main air pollutants is sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, solids, etc. Sulfur is very harmful among the gases when burning fuel. Atmospheric pollutants can be solid, liquids, and gases and can react in the atmosphere after chemical treatment or in combination with other substances. Of the mass of all pollutants released into the atmosphere from anthropogenic sources, 90% are gaseous substance and 10% is solid and liquid substance. The main sources of anthropogenic pollutants in the atmosphere we can see from the next table. Water resources include all water-containing resources. The planet water resources consist of surface groundwater, glaciers, atmospheric and soil moisture. Fresh water reserves are 3%. Types of water pollutants are divided in natural and anthropogenic. All pollutants entering natural water leads to various qualitative changes and are assessed by the following indicators. First, physical indicators of water quality due to change in the physical parameters of water. Next, changes in the chemical composition of water, the formation of harmful substance, floating substance on the surface of the water, and sediments at the bottom. And last is sanitary biological reduction of the amount of dissolved oxygen in the water due to the oxidation of organic pollutants in the reservoir, the emergence of new bacteria including pathogens, as well as sanitary biological indicators of water including coli title, coli index, virus, bacteria. Pollution of natural waters leads to their non-use for drinking, swimming, water sports, and technical needs. Affects the quantitative and qualitative composition of water in reservoirs are, firstly, the transfer of chemical pollution from the atmosphere. Secondly, entry of pollutants into reservoirs by domestic, industrial, and agricultural effluents. And third is surface runoff, such as rain, meltwater. Water use is divided into drinking water, cultural, and fishery. Waters are divided into the following types: fixed or belt type, and flow or topic type. Sewage is water that is discharged after use in human, domestic, and industrial activities. Contaminants entering wastewater can be divided into several groups. For example, in terms of physical composition, can be divided into insoluble, colloidal, and dissolved impurities. In addition, pollutants are divided into mineral, organic, bacterial, and biological. Domestic wastewater includes phenamines, highly active substance, microorganisms. Mineral waters are based on sand, clay particles, ore particles, debris, mineral salts, acids, and alkaline solvents, and etc. According to their origin, organic pollutants are divided into plant, animal, and chemical substance. Plant organic compounds represent residues of plants, fruits, and vegetable oils. Pollutants of animal origin are physiological emissions from humans and animals, animal waste, adhesives. And he says, organic chemical compounds are oil and its derivatives, synthetic highly active substance, synthetic detergents, phenol, formaldehyde, pesticides, etc. On the basis of bacterial and biological pollutants depending on domestic and livestock waters and other industrial waters, due to its location and properties, the soil is the last place where all natural and anthropogenic pollutants accumulate. Anthropogenic changes in the landscape includes landscape changing under the influence of human activities. The result of the accumulation of pollutants in the soil are direct introduction in the soil, for some such as fertilizer, pesticides, release of atmospheric pollutants in the soil, or aerosols of heavy metals, radionuclides, fly ash, gases, etc., and also surface runoff of contaminants into the soil, perception of pollutants in the soil by atmospheric perception. Soil quality scores are used as a quantitative measures of soil quality. To use the mineral fertilizer leads to a high anomalous content of chlorine, phosphorus ions, nitrate and ammonia compounds of nitrogen in the soil. Sulfur has a special place among the grid substances that fall on the soil by atmospheric perception. In the industrial regions of country, perception is from 20 to 30 kg per hectares of sulfur per year. The main sources of soil contaminants with carcinogens are emissions from aircraft, vehicles, industrial plants, thermal power plants, boiler houses. Carcinogens enter the soil in the form of large and medium dispersed particles of dust, spills of oil, or oil products. Radiation is an important source of soil pollution. This type of pollution is associated with the widespread use of radioactive substance. Radioactive elements are characterized by a medium or short life. They often decompose before they fall to the ground, but they are dangerous in the rainy season because they fall into the soil faster. Potential sources of radioactive contamination are nuclear accidents or incidents, nuclear weapons tests. Some types of chemical pollutions are currently causing global environmental problems. There are the most common diseases on the planet, such as thermal effects, ozone depletion, acid rain, photochemical furnaces, and diseases caused by them. Due to the atmospheric origin, acid rain and smoke occur. Acid rain is sulfur and nitric acid, which are formed when sulfur and nitrogen dioxide are dissolved in water and they fall to the surface by rain, fog, snow, and dust. Sulfur dioxide plays a significant role in the formation of acid rain. Acid rain in lakes can kill fish or all animals. They can damage the levels, sometimes plant deaths, and accelerate the corrosion of metals and damage structures. Acid rain can often be absorbed in developed areas or of production. Also, water drops are quickly removed from the atmosphere. They spread to emission from thermal power plants and industrial plants up to 100 kilometers away. In the low atmosphere, there are various substances that are exposed to sunlight, reducing the visibility of gas mixtures as a result of complex chemical reaction, which became known as smoke. Smoke is a combination of gases and solid compounds with fog or aerosol smoke from a car. Smoke is very dangerous for living organisms. One of the most dangerous components of smoke is ozone. With the emergence of smoke in large cities, its natural content increased by 10 times and more. Anthropogenic changes in the atmosphere are associated with the depletion of the ozone layer, which is shielded against ultraviolet radiation. The thickness of the ozone layer is 2 or 3 millimeters. The process of depletion of the special ozone layer takes place at the poles of the planet in the formation of ozone holes. In 1987, the rate of expansion of the ozone hole over Antarctica from year to year was recorded at 4% per year, and it's similar to that of the Arctic but lower. You can see in the picture. The safety of the ozone layer is that it absorbs ultraviolet radiation, which destroys living organisms. According to scientists, the depletion of the ozone layer is the source of aerosols, detergents, foams, solutions, and etc. in human life and industry. Use of fluorocarbons or freons. As in 1990, the world production of ozone depletion substance amounted to 1,300 tons. Fluorocarbons, when realized into the atmosphere, decompose in the stratosphere with the released chlorine atoms, which catalyze the conversion of ozone to carbon. Freons in the lower atmosphere can be stored for many decades. From there, they enter the stratosphere, where the number increased by 5% annually. One of the reasons for the depletion of the ozone layer is the destruction of forests, all producers of surface oxygen. The content of carbon dioxide and methane in the atmosphere is growing rapidly. These gases have a greenhouse effect. This you can see in the picture. They transmit sunlight but particularly block heat radiation from the Earth's surface. Over the past 100 years, the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has increased by 25% and methane by 100%. It is affected by global warming. For example, in the 18th, the average air temperature in the northern hemisphere has risen by 0.5, 0.6 Celsius since the end of the 19th century, and in the first 50 years it is projected to increase by 2.5 Celsius. Warming can lead to the melting of Antarctic ice and an increase in the level of the world sea by 0.5, 1.5 meters, where many coastal areas can be submerged. However, despite the increase in total rainfall, the climate in the central regions of the continent may be arid. For example, in 18th and 19th of the 20th century, catastrophic droughts were observed in Africa and Central America, which is associated with global warming. As can be seen in the example of air pollution, even simple effects can have serious negative consequences for the natural systems. This lecture is over. Thank you for your attention.